What's up, Texas? Happy Friday. Doing it again. Man. So, we talked about fear of failure yesterday. You know, I'm a full spectrum kind of person. So let's flip the script. Let's talk about fear of success, as it's another one of our self-afflictions. Man, probably one of the most popular again. You know, it's funny because there's so many of us. We all have differences. And in all of our difference in how we stress, how we fear, how we think, you know, across the board, this is what makes us beautiful as a whole. But, you know, the fear of success has led us at a stalemate, more or less, especially the older we get. You know, I talk about these lessons we learn and, you know, applying them. But at the same time, the older we get, you know, sometimes it's just easier to be complacent in certain situations. But, like I said, one thing becomes a habit, it affects all kinds of areas of our lives. So then this plays into a part of fear of success. You know, it's a unique issue, truly, that arises when you're ending or creating change, you know, about to break a habit, or maybe simply heading forward on your journey. But, you know, this fear of success is the change. It's maybe more responsibility, which is why 98% of us that fear success have this fear. You know, fear of not knowing where we're headed. You know, fear and wondering of what could be, what could become. Fear of what people would think, maybe, or if we were capable. But, you know, that's where we're headed inevitably, the future, regardless. Can't change that. And what we use or misuse with our imagination, as I've talked about before, has an enormous lasting effect on our lives. But, you know, most, I hate to say can't deal, but be the case, that's kind of what it is. Because more or less, we're not prepared. You know, we don't know how to face challenges of life until we get to them. And it seems like we always have to learn the hard way first before we can capitalize from them. So that's one of the things I say, that, you know, most can't deal because we're not prepared. We're never prepared. But training, cultural conditioning, you know, social, whatever. Anyway, when we're taught, things become habits, and they affect other habits. Like I said, fear affecting one leads to another and to another. You know, you may pass that fear of failure, but because of procrastination, you know, it's your fear of success. You procrastinate too much. You don't want to achieve it because then you don't know what you're going to have left after that. If there's anything left, is there a next challenge? You know, that's the fear of success, inevitably. And, you know, on some real talk, they got me on some gearhead stuff earlier, so I got a car thing in my mind real quick. I'm going to spit out. Real talk, we as a human civilization are formed, focused on fixing the past. So, we can't deal with future problems in this life driving through, because we're always looking in the rear view. We're never looking ahead of us. We thrive on fixing the past. We'll bring this topic up here in a minute again about the past, talking about that conditioning once more, because, you know, like I said, everything that we do has a huge effect on our lives. And, you know, fear of success in reasons, because sometimes you succeed, you feel you're going to be lonely because maybe you make a better income than your friends, and, you know, you fear becoming that person, and you're going to end up lonely. Or maybe you don't take that extra step because you don't want to be hurt again. You feel like you're going to end up lonely again, only to stay in the same boat. You know, maybe even becoming unlovable. I know this is a big power trip between men and women, because if a woman makes more than a man, is it degrading? shouldn't be. But, as I said, some of us are still caught in these old school ways. And within these old school ways, some things, like I said, habit forming. Never change until you decide to change your perspective. Individualism. But, it also leads to being seized by the wanteds. As friends or family or other people that come out of the woodwork that want in your cookie jar, want to dip their hand in your loaf. There's all kinds of reasons that we fear success as it would be. But, on a relationship level, like I said, with friends even, you can, some will cheer for you, family, some will cheer for you, others, some will cheer for you. But at the same time, some friends, some family, and some others, man, they're gonna steep in jealousy. And then some gonna desecrate your character or your ego because they fear watching you succeed. So someone's always trying to tear you down, which is the truth. And forgiving yourself, I've talked about this one a lot. I don't know why I took this route, because the sun was all up in me. But forgiving yourself is a conscious act, and you must be present with yourself when you do it. A lot of people are like, I don't understand what forgiving yourself does. But to be honest, forgiving yourself in a lot of cases will give you some closure. It may sound crazy, but it's the truth. At some point it will give you closure. But why are we afraid to succeed in life? What's the biggest issue is wanting to upgrade and level up and be better, not only for ourselves or society or for others or for our children. Are you at the success and the point of your life that you want to be? I'll wait. A lot of people are going to say no. At least they're not exactly where they want to be. And that would remain with the answer is back into procrastination or self-doubt or some of these other paths. The fact of the matter is you're afraid. Afraid to fail. Afraid to become like the people you didn't want to become. Maybe you feel undeserving even. It's tough trying to put together what the pieces could actually mean or what it could be. But, we don't believe in ourselves anymore. And that's inevitably a long problem when it comes right down to all of it. And we got to remember and remain positive. We got to have these reminders. Every time we get angry or we get mad or we get upset, we want that reminder, that happy moment with our son or with our daughter or with our boyfriend or girlfriend, spouse, maybe even a grandparent if you're younger. Some moment that brings you back to happiness and a laugh, that lets you get out of it, out of the crap and stuff in your head and back to a better state of you. The authenticity of us. People aren't original anymore. We've created a society that wants stuff mass-produced. So now we've created a type of character that we want mass-produced. Everybody wants to marry a Bill Gates or a Mark Zuckerberg or something to that effect. And no one's skilled anymore. No one has trades. We don't have welders and special clinics for all kinds of other things. We do for technology. That's about it. Like I said, a mass production leaves no personality to any jobs anymore. Anybody can do anything. And that's why everybody becomes what everyone wants everyone else to be. It's sad. We got to learn though. Learning is living. And these are the understandings that with the future comes the challenges that you're going to have to face and you're going to have to learn, because we were never taught how to deal, should we say. But I going back to that note on looking in the rear view. We talk about government, having a hand in on everything, which we voted. We let them put their hands in everything because we procrastinated. We became lazy. We didn't want to take control of this, that, or the other. We'd rather let somebody else do it for us, which has led us to our fears and inevitably everything else that we put ourselves through. But, for living in the past, it is as they teach us. I talk about, them creating a false enemy for war, or creating war even just for the rich to remain richer with petroleum and uranium and all the other wants. You know, let's take it into the history books. They teach us about hate and evil and, you know, slavery and the Holocaust and things that should be forgotten about. Not that we shouldn't keep an idea of them, but we teach them as if they're glorified. And that shouldn't be technically the case. But we turn it into a world event when we create war between all of us with it. And some of the greatest minds in history are absent from the books and from the courses because society breeds hate, you know? We lost a great man on January 7th of 1943 who could have changed the course of a world in probably 3 or 4 decades had we taken his ideas and applied them instead of going off the ones that made everybody else money, to where we lost our individualism, our authenticity. You know, fear of the future is fear of change. Can't ever upgrade or get better if you fear your own change, right? Love you guys. Y'all stay up and stay beautiful. And as always, I'll see you around.